I'm going to begin while I hand out the things for you guys, and I have water as well. I'm going to let Jen do her thing. My name is Jen. I'm from Family Service. I'm the nurse with the Adult Family Care Program and the Veterans Family Care Program, and thank you for having me. This is a great place. I've never been here before. I know part of eating on a healthy budget, eating healthy on a small budget. Sorry, I have not had coffee this morning.
There's some right out there.
I was going to say, go get some extra points. You want to go and you want to pick up things that are going to help stretch the dollar, but the problem with prepackaged foods is they are so full of salt.
Not mine.
I can't speak to anyone's diet in particular because we all have different dietary needs. We're all on different medications. So I can't answer any questions that are specific to your medication or diet. That's something you have to discuss with a nutritionist or your physician. So the government says that we should limit our sodium intake to 1,500 milligrams a day. No more than that. But does anybody know how much that is?
A teaspoon.
That's it. For the whole day.
Just about a teaspoon.
Right? It's not a lot. So probably we all put this out of the shaker in the course of a day. But when you get your food, if you look at the label, a lot of it already has more than this in it. My friend Tami, who I'm going to pick on, who I love to death, likes frozen dinners. And she buys healthy frozen dinners. Cuisine, what other kinds, Tami?
Smart choice.
Smart choice.
Healthy choice.
This is in her one lunch every day. So if she doesn't eat anything for the rest of the day, she's still way over when you compare the two. It's kind of scary, isn't it? Do you know why you shouldn't have too much sodium in your diet? Do you know what the problem is with it?
Retain your
Blood
fluid.
pressure. But do you know how that works?
Retain your fluid.
Exactly. So what would be easier, to carry a 5-gallon pail of bricks or a 2-gallon pail of bricks? 2-gallon, right? So when you retain water, your heart has to pump all that extra fluid, has to work harder, raises your blood pressure. When your blood pressure goes up, it affects your kidneys, affects your eyesight. Then the doctor says, well, we'll put you on Lasix. Get rid of some of that fluid. And then, of course, besides running to the bathroom every 3 minutes, now you have to worry about your potassium because you're getting rid of all that fluid, and that's getting rid of the good stuff. So now you have to take another pill to counteract. And oh, guess what? That pill has side effects too. So now you have to take another one. So as good as this stuff tastes, it's really important that you try to limit it. Lemon works really well as a substitute. So I need a couple volunteers. I'm sorry that we don't have a table, but the good part about being a volunteer is you get to pick the second volunteer. For lunch today, you're having salmon and kale, some mixed vegetables and some rice. But you taste it and it needs a little something. Put that on your lap and salt your food. Yeah. Nobody's watching.
Really?
Just like you normally would. The holes in that are a little
I
bigger than
don't
normal.
even have a salt shaker.
I do, but I don't use it.
All right.
Yeah.
It's good, right? It's good stuff. All right. I'm sorry. I should have brought the bag over. All right. We're going to see. What is your name?
Frank.
Fran. We're going to see how much salt Fran has on her lunch.
That salt shaker comes out kind of fast, I noticed.
It does, and if Fran picks you, you can always put it in your hand first. So that's one of the tricks they tell you to help you over time. All right, Fran, you ready?
I'm ready.
What do you think? She going to be over?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I get my daily allowance here. All right. Here's how much Fran should limit herself to in the day. Here's Fran's lunch.
You don't
I'm gonna give her a little less because she did smile and put a couple extra shakes on me. I think Fran's a joker.
She is.
All right, Fran, who else are we putting on the hot seat? Who else should we put on the hot seat?
Right here. This is Dot's here.
Hi, Dot.
She's ready to start her food.
I see. Is this an ongoing problem over here? Okay, now be honest. All right, that's good. You know what, it does come out
You
fast.
don't realize it.
I mean, salt shaker.
So
I only
what,
put it on tomatoes.
We'll see.
oh, so you don't put any? All right.
Yeah, I don't put it on the table.
Excellent, look at this. None for Dot.
Yeah.
Yay! All
Yeah.
right, Dot, we need someone on the other side of the room.
Okay, way down the end, the
Mary,
last one,
Mary, right
whoever
there.
that is, the last one down the end.
I'm not doing this to embarrass anyone or to, hang you out in front of your friends, just so you get an idea of, wait a minute, this is what I did this afternoon.
Salmon doesn't need salt.
Salted as if you were eating this. This is salmon, rice, some mixed vegetables, and some carrots. Thank you, dear. This looks a little better. Not quite so scary. I'm still going to predict this is about a third. Oh, might have been off.
About the same as mine. I don't know. I know it's not here. I don't have something.
What do you think?
Was putting too much.
So if you do this, you probably don't put salt on breakfast unless maybe you have
I
eggs.
definitely put salt on my eggs.
Okay. So we're just going to say 2 meals a day. Even at that, you double that, 2 meals a day.
Still too much.
It's still too much because when you read the label of your food, you're going to flip out when you see how much sodium is in it. And one of the things that you have to find is how many servings. I just grabbed a few items out of my cupboard just at random this morning while I was wiping the sleepy out of my eyes. If I can get this far enough from my face. This has 920 milligrams, so a little more than half of this.
Oh my God, one soda.
But there's 2.5 servings in this can,
Yeah, for who?
Yeah.
right? So if you only drank 1 serving, that would be plenty. Okay, who cooks with this? Everybody makes a casserole, right? Cream of mushroom soup? No? You guys are great.
Over my broccoli.
Stop it. That sounds heavenly.
It is.
All right, this little beauty here. I'm getting to the age where my arm doesn't get long enough. 870 milligrams for 1 serving. There are 2.5 servings in this can. So if you use that whole can to make a casserole,
I got to eat like that.
look at that.
After making it, we don't eat the whole casserole.
So that's 1 meal versus, that's 1 ingredient of 1 meal without added sugar. I mean added sugar. Added salt. It's like a whole day. Isn't that crazy? You don't. And the thing about sodium and high blood pressure is you don't know it's there. If you go to the doctor, they're going to say, oh, Mrs. So-and-so, your blood pressure is high, but you don't feel it. You might feel your heart racing, but for the most part, you're going along the day and you're not feeling your kidneys being damaged. You're not feeling, well, you might be feeling your bladder if you're taking the Lasix to go with it, but you're not feeling all the damage that's done with it. So my suggestion is read labels. I know it's a pain. Kill some time. The internet is full of educational materials that you can look up. If you want to buy canned beans, rinse them really well. Or canned vegetables, because you love those sales at Stop and Shop, 10 for 10. Why not, right? We're all trying to stretch our checks.
They sell them no salt. You can vegetables.
No salt? Yeah. Good.
Right,
no,
no.
there are some, you know, they say there's none, there is.
That, what's your name?
Susan.
Susan has a great point. A lot of the labeling now will say no salt because it's an amount below what the government says they have to list.
But then sometimes they add their sugar so it can taste good.
So
It's a preservative anyway.
it is. And that's why that's a good point, Susan. That's why all these foods have so much sodium in it, is because it is a preservative, like beef jerky. How else are they gonna put a piece of steak in a package and leave it on a shelf for 6 months, right? Do you ever wonder about that bacon that's in the box that you don't have to refrigerate?
I read that and it's nasty.
Has anybody really tried it?
I tried
You
it.
have?
I buy a sliced bread. That can last, what, 2 weeks in the blue mold?
I don't trust it.
Is it very salty, like saltier than regular? No? Do you buy it regularly?
Not regularly, but I do buy.
Will you do me a favor and the next time you buy it, look at the sodium content? And think about this little cat. You know what? I want you to
Get
get
it
this home.
from-
Give it to her.
Does anybody have any questions so far?
Oh, yeah.
Your salt substitute, what do you say about that?
From my taste buds and my nursing background, I think you're better to use herbs and lemons than the salt substitute, but that's, again, that's dietary specific.
It's not allowed on this. The renal diet, you're not allowed to use that at all.
No, it's not a lot of aspirin, I think, and then.
The people who don't use table salt, what do you use do you use it when you're cooking?
Nope,
Ah.
I don't.
There's another place for hidden sodium. Right, but
I use at least a third of the amount when I'm doing it. Yeah. It smells good,
it
but
does, it looks delicious, keeps starving.
I use more pepper,
So those are
pepper and garlic.
pepper and garlic. Anybody else have any suggestions? What a great idea, sea salt. The grain's bigger, you can see it, it hasn't been processed as much as table salt.
yeah, I like salt too.
It is still salt, but it's stronger, so you tend to use less.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been processed as much. And anything that hasn't been processed, the less it's been processed, the better it is for you. That's why if you can afford it and you go to the farmer's market to get fresh vegetables are the best option. And then frozen vegetables, and then the canned. And if you get the canned, rinse them out. But the less something is processed in general, bread, everything, the better it is for you. Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not much processed.
I just thought.
Right.
Right, I believe what makes the kosher salt kosher is how it's handled and processed. It doesn't have anything to do with the content itself. Right. Because it's religious preferences.
But it's still better than regular salt.
I'm not sure if it has the iodine, I don't know that our body might need. But that's a conscience of that if they select a certain salt that doesn't have the iodine in it, but if your body needs the iodine, maybe get it somewhere else.
Tammy's question was if you use sea salt or kosher salt, whether or not you're at risk for low iodine. I'm not a nutritionist, but it is my belief that there is enough iodine in your regular diet. I've yet to encounter anyone whose doctor said, you know, give it table salt to it and increase your iodine. You know, maybe someone who's had their thyroid removed would be on a different diet,
But in measurements, like for cooking or baking, if you're not using regular table salt, there is a different measurement for the different
Yes,
salts.
there is.
So you wouldn't want to
I
use
think
too much.
I don't mean to speak for everyone, but I think it's safe to say most people do it by taste. Right. Maybe if it's a new recipe you've never tried, you might measure it out, but after you've been in the kitchen for a little while, you tend to taste and go. Those are the habits you have to get out of. I use my father-in-law for an example a lot when we do trainings because he's just your typical ornery 86-year-old man who's set in his ways. And I'll bring his supper to him, and out comes the salt shaker, and I'm like, Joe, stop, taste it first. You know, it's, I don't know, think of the saltiest thing you can think of. It's bacalhau. And he'll be like, it needs salt, I just know it needs salt. And
Hey, he lived a good age.
I know.
All right.
He's 86 and you're telling him.
But if you can break the bad habits, maybe you'll get more longevity.
I tell it to my husband, first thing when I taste it.
Yeah, you want
I
don't even measure it when I cook, and I've been doing that for years. I just.
Right,
I'm just
so,
so used to it. I have no idea how much of anything.
but maybe now you'll just at least make baking. Right? The comment on this side of the room is that after all these years of cooking, she doesn't measure, she just shakes.
I'm the same way.
And I totally understand it, but when you're thinking in the grid, can you hold up the bag for the day? Should I give it to you? When you think about this as your total consumption for the whole day, and you're making your spaghetti sauce, maybe only use 1 dash instead of 6.
You also put salt in the water and cook the spaghetti.
That's right, yeah. Yes,
I took garlic,
yeah.
onions and peppers, and just a little bit of
Stop it, what are we making?
make everything like that.
Really?
Soups and stuff like that.
And then you don't need the salt?
I don't use no salt.
So it sounds, yes?
They do have some in the market that says no salt. It says it doesn't have no salt. It says no salt on it. What's that?
What kind of item are you referring to?
It comes in a little can like, and it says
Oh,
no
like
salt.
instead of salt?
Instead of salt.
Oh, like Mrs. Dash?
I think it's new salt it's called or whatever.
Oh no, it says no salt on the container. Yeah, I've seen that in the market.
Have you tried it?
No, but I saw it in the market.
We're looking to you to be the guinea pig.
Just about everything we eat has got salt in it.
Oh, yeah. It does, and that's the thing that you need to think in the back of your mind. Would you think that this has salt in it?
It
No, I know
does.
it's-
Anybody want to bake this while we wrap up?
Sure.
Yep, because it's packaged and it's preserved.
Can I ask another question?
Of course you can.
How much salt is in diet soda?
A lot.
Diet soda. I don't know. I'm asking you.
Well, I have a Coke Zero here, which is,
Zero means no soda? No
no,
salt?
it actually means
No
no
sugar.
calories.
Okay. I don't drink
40
soda.
milligrams in one of these little
How much?
bottles. 40.
40 milligrams salt.
What is that?
That envelope in your hand.
You're gonna make it taste good.
Well, this is
Twice.
this is the
Oh, the big.
Weight Watchers dinner.
I don't do any of these.
Well, who's good at math? This is 1,500 milligrams. Wow.
And what is in the bottle?
40
Per serving?
per serving. There's only one serving in this bottle.
Like a little pinch on it.
Yeah, there's a little pinch, like a little.
Little bit. Yeah, that's not bad.
But if you drink 6 of these a day.
Oh my God.
No, you don't drink that
Oh.
I don't drink no soda at all.
I don't drink soda
much. No, I
either.
don't need, I asked the question.
Water.
What is your poison of pleasure?
Water.
Water.
Diet soda.
Water, tea, and
Water.
water, tea, and
You can never, well, I should say, I was gonna say you can never drink so much water, but some people are actually on water restricted diets, so that's not a fair thing to say, but. Oh, those poor people, they have a lot more than salt in their water to worry about.
Yeah, one.
Wow. Is any of this informative?
Yeah.
New, eye-opening, something to think about?
Oh, no, I think we can go with the
No,
one.
say something.
There you go, pass it on to someone else. You might save someone
We'll talk about that Sunday.
from some sort of health crisis. Right? Yes, dear.
I'm just curious, you said you shop for those things out of your closet.
At home, yes.
So that means you're getting a lot of sodium.
Yes.
I thought of that.
I do not practice what I preach. Honesty is the best policy. But,
Disclaimers
wait.
come at the beginning.
I know, I do have to say, normally I wouldn't use this, but we had the family over for the holidays and I was worried that I might mess up the gravy and then what would I do? So that's why that was in the closet.
And they haven't gone home yet, right?
Barbecue sauce, I actually make my own, but I didn't think I had any, and I was making ranch. So a lot of this stuff I don't use all the time, which is why it's in the closet, but I use this all the time.
Hey, I was kidding, you can eat whatever you want.
But you know what, I appreciate you calling me out on that. I do. Because I do this training a couple times a year, and for the first 3 days when I'm done, I'm like, oh, no salt, and then I slip back into my bad habit. So it's always good to have somebody call you out on it. Can I come back next week?
You fill it up once a day?
Yes.
Do they sell any, little things where you can measure the grams of salt? Let's say we wanted to 40 grams of salt or whatever. Do
Yeah.
they have any?
You can get they have little kitchen scales, little pocket scales. They're about this big. I'm an Amazon shopper, so I don't know where you would get them locally, but you could do that.
I'll have to look this up.
That would have been a great giveaway.
Tiny scales. Next time, great, thank you ladies. We're always looking for fun giveaways and raffles. That'll be, I'll add that one to the list.
Tammy has water if anybody needs it.
Figure that out, whether it's a quarter teaspoon or half a teaspoon would be convenient.
I'll bet you
The
there's,
amount?
we could
You can,
Google
I
that.
was going to say, and anyone who's internet savvy, there's actually a converter where you just put in 40 milligrams. It'll tell you exactly how many teaspoon measurements
Okay.
it
Oh,
is.
that's good to know. That's great.
The cookbooks sometimes have that too.
They
Don't
do.
use them anymore.
Equivalent.
Oh, sorry.
You can also go online and they have a measurement for converting if you're using sea salt versus regular salt, because you don't use the same. If you used a teaspoon of sea salt in a recipe that called for a teaspoon of salt, you'd burn your tongue off. It's quite strong.
Yeah.
Hidden salts, if you're a baker,
Lower salt.
baking soda.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. Cold cuts, horrible for you for a million reasons, but it doesn't even take long. Do you know now that pregnant women are advised to not eat cold cuts by their doctors? Because of the bacteria that lives on the skin.
I'll remember that next time I get pregnant.
Yeah. Are you planning a family? Other foods that have hidden salt, cheese. Well, these I think are kind of obvious sauces.
Pepper, cheese, kevlar,
Soy sauce.
Soy sauce, that's
All right, you ready for the update on the
lightly
chips?
salted.
Lightly salted. Go ahead, read us. How much sodium per serving?
350.
85 milligrams.
How many chips in a serving?
1 ounce, about 15 chips.
And those are lightly salted. Anybody eat 15 chips?
No.
You do?
I actually got it. Yes, I do.
Yep.
I am seriously, I'm not poking fun. I'm really proud of you guys. That is awesome because it's so important to know your portion.
Serving size, that's the key.
It is.
What's that back?
When you pour a bowl of cereal,
The big
right?
one.
Do you measure out half a cup? Wow. You fill the bowl halfway up. Good job. That's
Salt in everything.
I don't know if it's so overboard.
If nobody has any questions, I'm going to let you get back to your day. Thank you for listening to my spiel and for participating. For those of you who put on the hot seat, I appreciate that. You guys did a good job.
Oh, I thought we put you on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. When someone asks you what you did today, you can say, I learned to rinse my hands.